Hi everyone. So you're getting two videos today to make up for my lack of a Saturday video. So the first video, you're going to meet Bella. This video is going to have a totally different tone to it than meet my pretty bunny rabbit. It's more of a serious tone of things that went on. And I did touch on it during Heathen Haven about my feelings about it and everything. And I still have pretty strong feelings about it. Mostly over the fact of looking over the spell more than once. It's not a binding spell. So the people doing it under the guise of thinking that it was, you were kind of a little duped. And I say this because I've read curses. I have read bindings. I have read hexes. I know somebody who does curses and hexes. And even they're saying this is done like a hex or a curse. The main thing being, when you do a binding spell, one thing I fully remember, and I was taught and how I read, is most to all binding spells that I've read, if you have a picture of the person, you normally have a string. You roll the picture up and you tie the picture with the string. Either one good solid tie or around it. If you don't have string, another option is to use a marker to draw what looks like bindings around their wrists, their ankles, their eyes, their mouth, or their ears. And that's supposed to represent rope, keeping them from doing something. Burning a picture normally means that you want to get rid of or eliminate or curse somebody. You want them gone. If that's what they were going for, then they should have been more honest with it. I read through the spell, like I said, numerous times. We talked about it. We listened to it and we read the spell out loud on Heathen Haven. And to me, it was a hex or a curse. It was not a binding. And the fact that a lot of people go, well, we don't believe in hexing or cursing because real witches don't do that, or real Wiccans don't do that, or pagans don't do that. Bullshit. Yeah, we do. People do it. They're still pagan. They're still witches. They're still Wiccan. They're still whatever they want to be called. There's no rule saying that you can't do this. You just choose to do it. That's the thing. Everybody chooses what they do and what they don't do. You don't necessarily have to do it. You don't need to do it. But if you want to do it, you do it. That's how it goes. And to disguise it as something it's not, it's kind of despicable on the creator's part. But if that's how they quote unquote do bindings, is burning a picture, flattering or unflattering of the person, then they need to stop and check a few things. But everybody does magic differently. But from my perspective and quite a few other people's perspective of reading this spell, it's a hex or a curse. A banishment spell to get rid of and get out is similar to a hex or a curse where you can burn the picture. Another thing is to put it into something or bury it. Blowing the ashes away is another way. You're banishing them from your immediate site or immediate area and from your life. Which is different than a hex or a curse, where a hex or a curse, you're putting some bad juju on them. Banishing, you're getting them out. You're getting them away. That's the big difference there. But I didn't see this as a banishing, especially with how it was worded. Looking at all the things with it, though, too. Nails to write on a candle is another distinct thing in curses or hexes. Because normally you'll use a sharp object like a pen or the tip of your afflame or hell, my feather is actually sharp enough to do that, or a sharp stone. But typically you don't really use a nail for that. You can use a needle. I do that. But when you write the name of the person you want, quote unquote, binded or banned or whatever on the candle, it comes to that energy is going to them to get rid of them because the candle is dissipating away. You have to remember that. If you're doing it to dedicate a candle to a god, that's different. But if you're praying a person's name, and it's very, very, very hard to put on binds on people about their emotions and how they feel about things like saying, I support Trump. You don't know how many people are out there that support Trump. You don't know how many people that have said it. And it's kind of hard to put anything on them when you don't know them personally and you're visualizing one person. That was another big issue I had. And another thing with that I will point out, and others have pointed out, there are pagans, there are witches, there are Wiccans, there are gay people, there are straight people, there are Christians and non-Christians, Jews, Muslims, etc. that supported Trump. Yes, it is possible for them to send out prayers or their own calendar spells and stuff like that to protect him. But it's a little bit harder to send something to protect somebody else. It takes a lot more of your energy. The question is how many people are willing to give out that energy. Something will come of what happened. Maybe something goes on with Trump. Something does. Not looking too forward to that. But it also could impact the people who did not participate in this and that are pagan, Wiccan, or witches, or any of them, or any whatever label you want to use. This could impact the ones who did not do anything. Granted, I know we should be able to be out in the world going, hey, I'm pagan, I do things like this, and like Christians not get criticized for it, or be able to be more open and expressive about it. But we're not. We can't. Why? Because there are people like the ones on Now You See TV. There are people that are actually in the government and in everything calling for witch hunts. Well, not exactly witch hunts, but to make it where it's not considered a belief system or a religion. And it's difficult because it's you against people who stick with the mainstream belief system of one type of deity. I mean, reading through some books, or listening to some books that I had been, which is the Iron Druid Chronicles, a Russian Slavic deity made a very valid point. When Christianity came, the written word came, there was a lot of Slavic gods that were forgotten and pushed aside, including the Slavic god of thunder, because if you think of a god of thunder, the first one that pops into your head is Thor. Not the Slavic god of thunder, which his name is hard for me to even pronounce, not the Asian god of thunder for Japan, or even the African god. There's a lot of others that people just forget and ignore. And it's because of a lot of it was either in statues or monuments and stone that has worn away. And the written word is what saved a lot of deities' known names, a lot of their known associates, a lot of their known pantheons. That's why we know so much about the Roman and Greek. Why we know about the Nordic, because of the written things that were put out there. Why we know about Christianity, because the Bible, the Torah, a lot of the things now that we have are because of written word. there are a lot of gods and demigods and other things that have been forgotten because of not having that, or another pantheon has come in and wiped out that belief system. And a lot of that happened because of Christianity, and us pagans are still a small number compared to Christians, Mormons, Jews, Muslims, and so on. Catholic, yeah, that was the other one I was trying to think. Sorry. But you have to realize, small numbers or not, we still deserve to have our voice. And I really wish and look to the day that there will be buildings that are for this pagan society or something like that that are broadly around town that you can go to and use that place for meditation, use that for works, use that for getting together and exchanging ideas and working together. Right now, we don't have that. Not because it's like, oh, we'd be conforming, getting a building, doing all that stuff, da da da. I think it's more because of the fact of we're afraid we'll be stigmatized or pushed out of communities, or if people find out, or even our work find out, like, oh, you're pagan. Let's see what we can do to get you fired. Or, oh, you're pagan and you want to work at my establishment. We'll let you know if you have the job. Best bet is you won't. It's still very frowned upon to this day. And it also is something that I've seen numerous people post about what's going on in their personal lives, and the fact that they're getting their kids taken away because they're pagan, and either their spouse or the other kid's parent isn't, or they use that against them, or a roommate just because they're pissed off that somebody won't do this with them, that they report them and they lose their kids because of a lie. Or because it's like, well, I seen them abuse these kids, and the kids are saying, no, they don't. But yet, they won't listen to them because their parents are known to be pagan. So immediately they think, oh, they have to be hurting these children. That's another big problem we have. Even with the Church of Satan, they have those issues too. And they're more out there and in your face of, hey, we're not, because we do follow the tradition of keep silent, keep hidden. And part of me thinks we need to change that. We need our own place where we can all gather safely if we're in a community, get together, exchange ideas, talk about things, and be freely open with one another and feel safe. We don't have that except for on the internet. Even then, it can be terrifying. But there is a need for change. There is a need to look at some of these hexes or curses or bindings that are going social media that are seen to be more politically driven than actually spiritually driven. And that's another way of looking at the whole binding, whatever it was, on Trump. It was more political based than it was anything else. And people who are going to sit there and go, oh, they just need to stop whining. They lost. We won. Deal with it. And that's what you were doing. You were crying, bitching about it the entire 8 years Obama was in the White House. Maybe you should learn to get over it too. But some people won't get over it. It's their right to bitch, and it's their right not to like it and complain about it. Everybody has their own right and their own way of seeing things, and their own right to bitch about it. So people are going to bitch, and people are also going to sit there and say that they should get over it, they should do this, they should do that. It's a personal decision to get over something or not. So to all those who sit there and say that these people being childish and stupid by holding what they did, they were just practicing something that they are very gun fast on, but at the same time very political about. And that's pretty much how I look at it. It was a political move mostly on their behalf. It was a not needed thing, it was also not organized very well or written very well either. So honestly, I will also say partially to me, it feels like it's almost childish. But some of the things that people have been saying about the people who are doing it, I will definitely frown upon, because sitting there saying, oh, they're doing this, think of the children, the poor children, or these people are a 40-year-old loser. You don't know who they are, you don't know their story, you don't know what they do. So sitting there insulting people you don't know makes you a better person. I don't think so. I mean, I also look at it as, if your deity or your God says to turn the other cheek and to be kind to thy neighbor and do not judge, why are you sitting there calling them names and judging them? But hey, that's just me. So, but I'll end this video there. Uh, just remember that another big thing in your life is the tool of knowledge. Use it wisely. Blessed be.